what's in my Z palettes. I have been busy. Look at all of these palettes. I have now filled up with products that were once in larger palettes. Some of them were in like those little drugstore quads and things like that. I have cleared out a lot of space in my makeup collection with all these, little bitty containers that are now empty. If you're not familiar with what a Z palette is, I've done one other video on these, I believe, but basically this comes to you as an empty palette and it's got a surface inside where the little pans will magnetize to it. Now, not every pan does, so sometimes you have to add a magnet. Several of my new Z palettes that I got actually came with little stickers that were magnets on one side, stickers on the other. You can put them on the bottom, so if anything doesn't stick inside, like for example these MAC ones, you can put that little magnet sticker right there on the back and then it goes in. So as far as depotting and the process of taking, your little drugstore quads and emptying them out and putting them in these, I got all those tips on YouTube, so I will post below some of the most helpful videos that showed me how to do this. Maybe I'll do a blog to accompany this, or just something with a few little, things that might make it easier on you that I've personally figured out. But as far as the overall process, I did not come up with that myself, so I will share what helped me the most in the info box. So I'm going to show you what I have inside all of these, and of course it's not permanent. That's the beautiful thing. So if you want to rearrange, you can take the magnets out and pop them back in different ways, do whatever you want. As far as like travel goes with these, I've been able to travel with my Z palettes multiple times. Nothing happened, but there is this window in the top on all Z palettes, and it is a little bit concerning that has some flexibility to it, and you wouldn't want to get any of your products crushed if you're going on a plane and want to travel with your palette. So I'm always extra careful to wrap it up in some clothes in my suitcase, and I've had no issues. Any makeup product you take has the potential to break, unfortunately, but I would just be extra careful with these because while they are, fairly durable and things aren't going to come unmagnetized from the palette, you want to be careful with this window that, as I said, has a little bit of give to it. This is the first Z palette I ever got. As you can see, it's the zebra design and it is the large size, and inside I have a bunch of my Coastal Scents Hot Pots. So these are just little individual shadows. They are all the size of like a regular MAC shadow, and as you can see, they just magnetize in there. There is no extra magnet required. In terms of the specific shades, maybe on my blog I'll point out like specifically what's in here if there's a certain color that intrigues you. And this is a really nice selection for me if I'm traveling, if I'm going to be doing someone else's makeup. I feel like it's a nice wide variety of shades that's going to suit most situations. Now the rest of these Z palettes were sent to me for review. So I've got several different sizes to show you. This one, however, is a large, just like the zebra one I just showed. And I did something a little different here. I depotted a bunch of drugstore shadows. You might recognize what brands these are from, but these are actually Physicians Formula. And it's interesting because these come as a shadow in kind of a long strip. I did have to add a little magnet there. It's interesting, some things will just go right in, some things require the magnet. But here, I've gotten rid of some bulky packaging that these originally came in. And with these, I found I wasn't using these as much. They kind of got stowed away in one of my makeup containers here. And these are the Stylish Smoke Squads from Maybelline. The packaging is a little different on these right now, but I've got charcoal smokes, natural smokes, the purple smoky one, and the green one as well. And so I just fit those all in here. Now this palette is the Pro size, and it is just a little bit larger than the size called large. If I set them right on top, you can see the Pro size just has a little more space to it, and it's been designed to hold like larger pans of products. As you can see, I chose to put a bunch of eyeshadows in here actually. I really wanted to start getting more use out of some Urban Decay and Too Faced palettes that I've had for a while, but they're just not travel friendly. The Urban Decay NYC palette is is pretty bulky. Also Urban Decay Book of Shadows 4, that's what these are all from. So I popped them out of those palettes. I didn't even need to add an additional magnet to any of these. They just worked in here. And I just configured them in a way that made sense to me. You know, a lot of the neutrals, the medium shades, the deeper shades. There are a few that aren't in here, but most of the shadows that were in the Urban Decay NYC and Book of Shadows 4 are here. And I mean, it feels like an all new palette to me just because I was able to combine those, put them together how I wanted. And here, these come from a couple of different Too Faced palettes, the Glamour Revolution palette and Enchanted Glamourland. So there was some overlap in the shades, so not every single shade is included here, but most of them. And so I've got kind of a nice, you know, mostly neutral, but a few pops of color palette here. And I'm getting more use out of those shades now than I ever did before. This is the Dome palette, and it's the same size all around as the Pro except for one thing. This one is a little bit taller, or has a little more depth to it, so it can accommodate those baked products. Here we have MAC Soft and Gentle. This is a MAC limited edition blush. I believe the shade is Giggly. And here we have several Milani blushes. This is Dulce Pink. This is, what's this one? Rose d'Oro, Luminoso, and this one is, gosh, Berry Amore. Here I have a Laura Geller kind of small mini size blush in Berry. This is just a random blush from Victoria's Secret. And here are the Laura Geller Babycakes blushes. They came in like a palette form, so they're smaller, as you can see, than even the mini size. But I thought this would be a good place to have them all together. So those are in several different shades. Pink Grapefruit is one of them. Also have Golden Apricot. This is Sunswept, and this is Sugar-Free Raspberry, meaning no shimmer. I know Laura Geller always talks about how her, you know, baked products are baked on a terracotta tile. And until I depotted things, I thought maybe she was the only one who did that. But with all these different brands, Laura Geller, Milani, MAC, even the Victoria's Secret one, all of these come off on a terracotta tile. So these are like cream products that have been swirled together, baked on that tile. Once you depot them, you'll be able to see they have that made in Italy, many of them do. And that's not going to be magnetic, so I did need the extra magnets for these, but I mean, it works great. Now this palette is a mid-sized palette. There are some even smaller than this, but this mid-sized palette is called the 4U, and in here I have 15 MAC eyeshadows. This is pretty much my whole MAC eyeshadow collection. Once again, I could blog and tell you specifically what each of these shades are. I kind of like having these all in one place. A lot of people talk about having MAC palettes, and I've never had one till now. Never depotted a MAC shadow till I kind of got on this project. I think it's really handy. I happen to have a lot of neutral kind of wearable shades that work together, so this will be a nice, you know, on-the-go travel palette for me as well. So here you can see we have the Pro and Dome size, the large size, and then the 4U size. These are the only Z palettes I have, but I do plan to place an order for more, just because I've got more products that I think I can clear up and more space that I can save by putting my shadows in these. Now I do really like the large size, but what I'm planning to repurchase next is another one of the Pro size, just because I think that gives you the most flexibility. Like, I know I'm going to have a lot of shadows to put somewhere when I start taking out of more and more of those bulky, you know, palettes. And I plan to get one more of this 4U size. I just think that's a very handy size, and I could see me, you know, maybe just keeping one kind of open, and when I go to travel, just taking from maybe some of these others and putting my own palette together just for on-the-go purposes, you know? So I think it would be nice to have an extra of this size as well. That's it. I hope you found this enjoyable and informative. I just really got on a roll when it came to depotting things, and I found I was just, you know, getting such a thrill out of figuring out ways to get the products out and then filling up my own palette. That's also the satisfaction with these kind of comes from being being able to adjust and make the palettes exactly how you want them to be. So you can take some of your favorites, put them together. I didn't take a lot of my singles out because I've got kind of a color-coded storage system. I think I described that and showed that the last time I did my makeup collection, and that's still the way it is. I organize my singles by color, and that's good for me, and I'm not having a space issue with those, so I kind of focused on, like I said, the larger palettes that I haven't been reaching for as much, and then also some quads that I hadn't been using as much either that I just like to clear out some space. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any special tips to share with me and everybody else who's watching or reading comments just about, you know, tricks for depotting or your favorite things to store in a Z palette, definitely include those in the comments section. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.